Jason, remember this?
I do remember this.
That's you and me on the chin ramp, double inverts, like search for Animal Chin. And that's me wearing the actual shirt from that original photo on Animal Chin.
It's so crazy.
And now we're selling these.
Yeah, and I'm here. I'm just a part of it.
So we signed 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
Well, I've signed most of them, and you have to sign them.
I'm gonna do it right now.
So that by the time you were watching this, they will be available, ready to ship. Boom.
Yeah, I'd hurry up and get one, man. This is the greatest thing that I'll ever be a part of, ever. So.
I'm pretty hyped on this.
Yeah.
So they're at TonyHawk.com, I think. Yep. TonyHawk.com.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's a place. That's a good place.
All right. Keep searching. Welcome. Here we go.
And I'm not Tony Hawk.
Perfect. Been a while.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Mike Rooftop Escamilla is here.
Yeah.
We are reunited.
Yeah, it was like a full-on reunion out there.
Oh, I know. On the ramp, as you walk by, who was it? Cab, Lincoln.
Andy Mack came out.
Andy Mack.
Yeah.
Amelia's out there.
It was like the cast of Cocoon 3.
Yes.
Of skateboarding.
That's exactly what we were talking about, too. We were talking about Andy's experience at the Olympics, being an elder statesman.
Yeah.
See how I did that?
Yeah, acts like he's not part of it.
Jeez.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about the Cocoon.
Oh, I thought he said something else. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, well, I'll say it again. I'm literally grandpa. So
wait, there was a Cocoon.
Congratulations.
Yeah, wait, there was a Cocoon 3?
See? That you just proved you're part of it.
I don't know. I only saw the first one.
Right, me too.
There was a second one.
There was a second one?
Yeah, it was on the ramp an hour ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Francis Riley are amazing with him, and we've gotten to see him quite regularly, so it's super fun.
Does Riley live close by?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I didn't know if he was up in LA or he was down
Yeah,
there.
well, he's not, but I can tell that might happen in the future, so we're trying to see him as much as we can.
I'm trying to do the opposite.
Trying to get out of LA. Like, maybe you can swap houses with Riley?
He's not going to like my house.
It's just more cozy.
Is that? Yeah, I wouldn't describe my house as cozy, but it's a shelter.
Man.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Is it under a bridge?
No, it's good.
Well, then you're all right.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's great.
Let's see. When did we first meet each other?
I would say that we met in the 90s.
Yeah,
probably
for
at one
sure.
of the like X Trials type events or X Games events. It would have been mid 90s. And then we'd see each other like here and there, like we knew each other,
Mm-hmm.
And then it wasn't until 99, I think, and we went on the Jones Soda tour where we became like friends, I think, where we were like, okay. And then after that, all the Hawk tours and
Jones
Gumball
Soda.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, that was, Matt was on it too. Big Island.
Big Island. Honestly, I don't remember at all. I have like a few photos, and that's all I remember. I just remember we were in an RV, the Jones Soda RV, maybe?
Yeah.
And it was the first sort of skateboard bike combination tour I'd ever been on, which then would be that's all I went on for the next 5 or 6 years after.
It was interesting too because it was not a lot of skate parks at the time, but definitely a growing interest in our sports because of X Games.
Yeah.
And I feel like we did a couple of things where we got some pretty special treatment, and at a time when no one was getting special treatment, and it was completely unexpected, and we got taken by surprise.
I know that like if there was skate parks then, bikes definitely weren't allowed at them.
Right.
So a lot of the parks, it felt like special treatment because we never would get to ride at them ever. So you were like our get into skate parks free card.
Yeah.
Which was
if I have this right, I'm pretty sure we went to. I get tours mixed up, but we went to Ocean City, Maryland.
We did,
and they had a vert ramp, but we hit traffic in our Beast, and we got there as it was getting dark.
Was that to Jones Soda tour or was that a Hawk tour?
I think it was Jones Soda Tour.
Okay.
And it was getting dark, and so the fire department came out with their fire trucks and lit up the ramp with their giant lights.
Oh, sick.
At the moment, I was like, "This, like, we have peaked. This is as big as it ever gets." The fire department lit up the ramp for us
sick.
for a demo at night.
I vaguely remember that.
I mean, that was one thing, but
that was 25 years ago.
Yeah,
that's a bummer. I can't even get him to light up my house if it's on fire. But yeah, that I felt like at that time, that was the first time I think, because bikes I was just mainly sort of doing bike stuff. But that was sort of the change. Like, oh, it's like we're about to be on summer vacation for the next 5 or 6 years.
For as long as
as we can make this happen. Yeah, and so I think that was sort of and that also was like the switch of me in bike riding, because before it was just bike riding. It was me, Matt, and Thorne were the only sort of bikers that went on all those tours with you guys. And bike riding that time was they're a lot more harsher now, and so it wasn't okay, but it was okay. Does that make sense? Like people had issues with it, like, oh, you're on tour skateboarders, and
since bike dudes had a problem with you,
and it wasn't they had a problem with the skateboarders, they just had a problem with us, and I realize now it was just because they weren't invited.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was just the thing. But since I always grew up with skateboarders, it just seemed normal, right? Because when I grew up riding, it was always like Jeremy Ray and Jonas and Paul Luna. So
yeah, but
it always just seemed normal to me.
Too, yeah.
And I skated a little bit too, but there was no like, and also it was always weird to me when I would get yelled at by some dude who could like yell at me about grinding the coping at a park, and I'm like, he's doing Benihana flyouts with fingerless gloves, and I'm like, when you can get to the coping, you can complain about it. But
there was a time, and I won't name names, but we got invited to skate a private bowl, and the owner was very much like, no bikes.
Oh, hold on. But before that, we were doing, we'll just say that, we won't say who it is, but we were in the town of Bozeman, Montana, and we had this huge demo, like massive demo, like the whole state was there.
They canceled school games that day.
It was, the whole state was there.
Yeah.
And like, I remember, because it's right next to the freeway, I think, the huge hill, like everything was.
Yeah, I still have photos of it. It was absurd.
Right before the demo, they were like, no bikes can ride. And it was because this one guy helped get the skate park built, if I remember right. And he was like, no, he can't ride. And I remember, that's what I always like was.
Is it the handlebars or something? What is it that is the problem?
I think it's age. Just old age, like older.
I don't know. But what was the argument?
It's almost always
like if you drop your bike,
right?
Does it chip the concrete?
It's always pegs.
It's always pegs, but that point,
isn't
handlebars too.
Grinding the coping,
but whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, here's the thing. I really just like
it is that. Yeah, they think.
Is there an actual like argument towards BMX dudes? Because I feel like if I grind a pool
on wood,
I chip the coping.
Yes.
If you grind the pool, you chip the coping.
You're 100% right. But I think
who's worse?
Skateboarding for sure.
It is, right?
Because most pegs now are plastic anyways, and they've been plastic for 20 years.
Oh wow!
But, and the pedals are plastic, and the grip, and there's nothing really that can. But I think the thing is you get some kid who goes up and does like a 3-foot air to pegs and blows it apart, which then it would be. Imagine doing like a 5-foot Madonna to your truck so instead of your tail.
Okay.
And I get it, but it's like those few people in between that would maybe damage it, you know? Which
I can tell you, as a ramp owner,
yeah.
When the pegs dig into the ramp on wood, it jacks it up.
Okay, I
had to ban Rick Thorne from trying inverts anymore.
Because he bails and slams the butt.
He was trying like hand plants.
Hand plants, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and that's like, that would make, I get that.
And then he would wash out and his peg would gouge out the ramp. And then at one point, there's just all these gouges in the same part of the ramp.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not justifying anyone blacklisting
but
BMX.
I get it.
I'm just saying that was my
But that's also your
ramp.
private ramp.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Like, I mean, I also get it. If there's a DIY spot that all the skaters built and no bike helped out, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You know? But like, this is a
city-owned
park. Yeah. But anyways, then he invited you guys to go ride the bowl later.
And I didn't actually go.
Oh, you didn't? I went and I skated a little bit.
You went and then he skated it.
Yeah.
You skated?
Yeah. I got some. Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was cool, but it was kind of like, come on.
Yeah, I still tell that story because he was in a band, and so I've never listened to that band again.
Okay. I just saw him recently, so I'm definitely cutting this out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But there was a lot of that no bike stuff back then, and
they're all allowed now, right?
No.
Wait, but what about scooters at the skate park?
I don't know. I don't.
With our foundation, we always would,
Yeah.
We're not allowed to make the rules for a skate park, but we'd always say it's encouraged for all
Everyone.
sports. Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
I
great,
always. I thought the only thing that I didn't like at the skate park that I see videos of a little bit. I don't know if it's like my phone like knows that I want drama in my life because I really don't, but I will accidentally watch like people arguing at supermarkets and stuff. But the mums with the little kids yelling at skateboarders to get out of the way, like this is our time to use it, and I'm like, wait. It's your time to use the skate park for your toddlers.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of mums with strollers and just kids with no scooter, no skateboard, just running around.
Oh.
And they're like, and the mum's yelling at the kid for attempting to skateboard while her children, and she's like, they're gonna need a nap soon, and then when they have a nap, you can have a ride. And I was like
It's a playground.
I was like, yeah. And the craziest thing is like, this was in a park. They can go in the park, but it's like, but look at the pretty ramps. And I'm like, it's a skate park. And it was just the mom's face where she was like, the audacity of this skateboard kid wanting to skateboard the skate park when I clearly, obviously have a 3-year-old that wants to run around with a strap on his back. So I follow him around like a moron. Like, it was just, and there's not one, there's several videos where I'm like, what year are we in? Because I got mums. I know mums.
There's a slide right over there.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new thing where these people put elbow pads and knee pads on and they run and they slide on their elbow down all the banks and then they'll put like an obstacle down and they'll hop?
It's not a new thing. That's a joke. No one's serious.
That's real, I think.
I think it's real.
It's
Dude,
real.
there's a guy. There's a
It's
guy that I was gonna. He's in Colorado because he wants to be on my show, Jason L show. If anyone wants to check it out, he is the.
You want to plug anything?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jason
I'm
L
not
show.
allowed. Sorry, I have an actual career. I don't. All right, the Jason Ellis show. Fuck him. How about that?
Is that the title of the show? The
It's
Jason
gonna
Ellis Show?
be.
Fuck
It's
him.
gonna be. This guy has the.
Congratulations, by the way, about the show.
What show?
The Jason Ellis show.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. Thank you. Anyway, this guy has this land speed record on a skateboard. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Motorized skateboard. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I see the video and I'm like, it's a motorcycle with I guess he stands on it sideways at the but he's 60-something.
Oh, that sounds about right.
I want to have him on my show, but first I want to make a skateboard that goes faster. So when he comes on, I go, that's pretty cool, man. But have you seen me breaking your record? Because he's doing like 80 mile an hour, and I'm like, I will piss that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll break 100 for sure. I just got to get the tools, but I got to make it where it's not a motorcycle.
You're acting like you give nonchalance right now.
But I could just wear the pads that guy was talking about. If I fall, just do the...
And then you could win both sports.
Right?
Yeah.
Set up like a little jump at the end.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I've seen you're good at knee slides, so you probably...
Who is?
You are.
I am not. If I have a knee slide, I celebrate.
Speaking of knee slides, you guys been to Not Scary Farm?
Not in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, Knott's Berry Farm turns into like Halloween.
Yeah.
And they have monsters walking around and whatever.
I had to save
there's
my daughter's friend from
There's
being
a
scared.
group of them that walk around in knee pads and then they just knee slide by you. And I didn't know that was a thing. And I heard what I thought was neat. I was like,
Yeah.
what is someone scared? And this guy knee slides by me and then like kind of spins around and gets up and runs. And I was like,
I heard that it's
That
a
makes me
bunch of
angry.
ex-skate pros. Finally found something.
I'll tell you,
It's like the
they don't get up like
Primo and his
skate pros.
wife. Are you aware of that?
No.
There's this dude Primo and his wife. Primo did the Primo slide, like when you flick your
Yeah.
board up and skid on the side of
Primo
it.
and Diane, you never heard of them?
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
No,
Dude,
it's
they
like,
got
like Sonny and Cher.
Dude, pretty much. They got a gig at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Where they had how many years? Like years, dude. Not like
They did freestyle shows at SeaWorld.
Yeah,
Wow.
like full on job. Him
and it was
his
like
wife.
old school type freestyle.
No, it was, I mean,
Old school freestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, his name's Primo. He invented the Primo
Primo
slide.
slide, yeah.
But he did Primo slides like 3 times a day at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
There's hope for me.
So when that was
backed it.
going on, I mean, I could tell these stories all day, but people, if anyone knew a skateboarder in the 80s or like went to school with a skateboarder, it was me.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
convinced it was me. right?
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
The name that they knew somehow, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I went to school with you in Louisiana." I'm like, okay, sure, but I had many people tell me, "I saw you skate in SeaWorld in the '80s."
Yeah, you were primo.
Yeah.
I was like, "You saw a shorter Filipino dude do demos with his wife, and
Pretty
it was
much
me."
same person.
Yeah.
I get that.
Okay.
I mean, when you're on a skateboard, you guys are pretty much identical. When I skateboard through the airport, a lot of people go, "No way, Tony Hawk." I'm like, hey.
I'm going to have to adopt that. I'm going to have to start saying that because you say it so much. Hey.
Dude, okay, it's in my stand-up now, and I did it the other day, like, because I'm trying to make it tight 3 minutes to audition for the Comedy Store, and the cleanest joke I have is the one about you, because it doesn't involve drugs or anything. Actually, it does, but not you, me. But when I do, like, I do a quick impression of you, the other day I did it, and I saw, like, half the room go, whoa, like, that was spot on. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. Like, I go, hey, Tony Hawk. And everyone goes, hey, because you're Australian. And then all of a sudden, you're Tony Hawk. And I'm like, is it that impressive? Because
is it that close?
I could have sworn it just sounds like me going, hey, hey. But it's a little bit of a tone, you know?
I see it.
The tone gets it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I see it.
But
Wow.
But it's like, I feel like the first time ever when I did it the other night, because it was a smaller room, and I saw like some 25-year-old dude, and he was like blown away, and I was like, oh, are you blown away from the impression of his voice?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever. It's usually just funny because it's like, I'm like, oh, mate, I'm from the Outback. And then I go, no way, dude. And people go, whoa, you sound like an American. And it's like not really. But
It doesn't take much.
not really.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, you guys ever travel? You ever go anywhere?
He skates through airports.
I do. And security hate me.
What about your personal hygiene products?
Yeah,
that you
I
bring
definitely
with you?
don't want to be stinky, and I definitely find it more convenient if I could have my stuff that I wash myself with not in a bag where I have to wait at the terminal and have somebody vibe me for being a 50-year-old skateboarder. It would be a lot more convenient if I just could take a carry-on thing that did all those things all in one thing.
You mean like shampoo, face wash, body wash?
Yeah, like if that was just one thing. It was just one thing that I could take through in my carry-on luggage.
Guess what?
What?
Mando's 4-in-1 acidified cleansing bar is that one thing.
Nah.
Yeah, it's a 5-ounce bar that does the work of shampoo, face wash, body wash, and deodorant.
Dang.
You can carry that and your skateboard. That's all you need.
That's all I need.
You can also use it to create a rich shaving lather. So technically, it's 5-in-1.
What?
Mount Fuji is fresh and woodsy. Bourbon leather is sweet and sophisticated. Pro Sport is clean and citrusy. You can get it in 3 cologne quality scents. You know what? It's a toss-up between Mount Fuji or Pro Sport, because Pro Sport is clean and citrusy, and I would rather feel clean and citrusy after I do my Pro Sport.
Well, I would rather be bourbon leather because I'm not sophisticated, but I would like someone to think that I am.
Special offer: new customers get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code HAWK at shopmando.com.
Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. Oh, I like deodorant wipes. And free shipping.
Luckily, we have discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code HAWK at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. And use the code HAWK, H-A-W-K, like the bird, like my last name. Love the holidays, but hate grocery shopping? Ibotta is making your Thanksgiving easier with cash back on everything you need to make your perfect holiday meal. So you can get the turkey and your favorite sides for free. This month, Ibotta is giving new users 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem for everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. All you have to do is shop at your favorite retailers and upload your receipt. Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so you can get everything you need for the holidays.
You can also earn cash back on hundreds of online brands and retailers when you start with Ibotta, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, I love Sephora, Best Buy, and more.
Download the Ibotta app now and use code HAWK to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast starting November 1st. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app and use code HAWK. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code HAWK.
Back to the show. Who is drilling?
Oh, they might be in this building. This side of the wall is leased by another company.
You know, it'd be cool if they just came through like the Kool-Aid guy. Oh, my bad.
You guys want anything?
Yeah. No, wait, dude, you're Tony Hawk. And you're like, hey, I am. Hey.
I gotta say, but traveling with Mike, I think you were truly one of the first people that was so set up to make content. You had all the gear, you knew how to use it. You were like, we were doing travel vlogs or whatever you want to call it way back.
Yeah, we were doing. I wasn't. My biggest problem with that is that I wasn't smart enough to ever start a YouTube channel. I just made stuff for all of us.
Yeah.
But like, because in my head I was still doing TV, I was hosting TV shows.
Right.
So YouTube seemed like I'm going backwards.
Yeah,
you know, but
I mean, for a while we were putting on Shred or Die.
Yeah, Shred or Die, and then or we were doing the Gumball videos.
Yeah.
But I did feel like some of those videos had like a good vibe to them. You know what I mean? Like it was very.
Oh, I thought they were great.
Yeah, it was a vibe that I think,
wondered why they didn't resnate more.
Yeah, I just think we didn't have the audience.
Yeah, it was a small audience. But you were hustling to do that, and also we would just go to the most random. I mean, on Gumball especially because we're going through
everywhere.
Yeah, Thailand, Serbia, whatever, and trying to find things to ride.
Yeah,
which was the funnest part as far as I was concerned.
There was like between like when did Hawk Tour start? Like 2001? 2000. 2000 to, well, pretty much like almost 2011 or 10. I feel like I probably traveled with you more than anyone else with all, like at least like real trips, you know, right. All 50 states and 30 countries. I don't know what it was, but I did feel like it was like this never ending adventure that didn't seem weird. Like I was like, oh, it's time to go again. You know what I mean? Like, where are we going? Serbia. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we going to ride?
Some skate spots.
I don't know. We'll find something.
There's a bridge that kind of looks like a quarter pipe.
Yeah.
We'll go ride that.
Let's drive there. Okay.
No, at one point, correct me if I'm wrong, we were in Budepest.
I don't know the rest of the story yet.
There was just traffic.
Oh, yeah. That's
out, like trying to get out of town.
Dead stop.
Gumball is stuck in like morning. So, there's just commuters and then some Lambo and a bunch of commuters and then some crazy Range. Like it was so stupid. And we saw some
flat bars, right?
Flat bars. And so we just got out and shot like 10 minutes of content.
Just on the side of the road in Budapest.
While someone like maybe Jared was just stuck in the traffic line.
And we shot up and down the block and the car never got to the end of the line.
Yeah.
We just got back in the car.
Just got back in the car.
Which is awesome. Those days are
That was the hustle.
Done.
Those days are done. Dude, I remember there was one trip. It wasn't, I don't know if it was that one, but where progressively everyone that was with us fell apart emotionally.
Which trip was it? I remember that.
I don't want to say it
but I can't remember which trip that was. Was that a Gumball or was that a Hawk Tour?
It was Gumball.
Nobody fell apart on the Hawk Tour.
Yeah, I just don't remember. I can't remember.
I mean, it was taxing, the drives and the schedule and everything, and of course, yes, we're just having fun and whatever. But you did have to keep up.
And
with
one of the
what
years
was like the checkpoints and with all the places, and it was a ton of driving.
One of the years half the trip we were in a Mini Cooper.
I was gonna say you guys weren't even in cool cars.
I mean,
but we had some people that were jumping in and out of our car, and at some point through the course of this whole trip, everyone fell apart.
When you say fell apart,
except us.
Except us.
When you say fell apart, like
just
had
mental breakdowns.
Like crying or angry?
Crying
and like ready to go home, or like just like couldn't get anything together. You're like, well, just get in the car, dude.
like just couldn't
function. Is this an adult?
Adults.
Many adults.
Yeah.
Many.
What is the pressure that made
most
these people
all
cry?
of them were skateboarders.
Yeah. What's that?
Just because BMXs weren't invited. Just try to put skateboarding.
No, but I remember that vividly where you and I at some point were like,
what's happening?
are we the only ones that aren't crazy?
I don't care about names. I just want to know, like, what are things that breaks a man and that breaks down in a car because of not sleeping? Are they drinking?
I remember
he's trying so hard not to name somebody.
Yeah.
He just saw a name run through his face just then. He was like, I can't do it. Because it's going to make it so much funnier if I tell you the name. But
we're
I'm like,
looking for someone that we're with whose car has broken down.
Yeah.
And that is the adventure.
Okay, broken down car.
We're going to go look for them.
Someone else is broken down. We're trying to find them.
Someone else is broken down. We're going to save them.
Yeah.
And we don't
and somebody in your car is freaking out about that?
No, we aren't even there yet. And we're trying, and we don't have, we don't have technology like we have now. We don't have maps on our phones and stuff. We don't.
Yeah.
So there's this sort of Gumball headquarters that has a tracking system. So we literally have coordinates, latitude and longitude coordinates of this person we're trying to find.
Like a map, a handheld?
Yes.
A handheld map with a coordinate that is like the technology of the A-Team. Right? Like it's just this old stuff that you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, and we're getting photos of them, and they're at some roadside
diner,
or like not a road. I mean,
no, it's not a diner. There was centipedes in the food.
There was still they have centipedes in their.
It was in Thailand.
Ramen. It was in Thailand.
But the centipedes were there on purpose.
Yeah, we don't have to say who.
Right.
It was in Thailand.
Yeah, it was in Thailand,
but they were way outside the city.
Yeah,
and we keep driving, and there's this ravine. Like there's a river
in between us,
and where we need to go.
Yeah.
And someone fell asleep in the back because we're driving for so long.
Also, at some point in traffic, the car just stopped working.
Oh, the car stopped working.
Just dead.
On the freeway.
On the
freeway, yeah.
And I have like 2 tools for my bike. And somehow that was enough to fix it.
And we're all just like, what are we going to do? The car is dead.
Yeah.
And we open up the hood, and we see the terminal on the battery came off.
So you just put it back on.
Wait, is that really all that's wrong? And I put it back on. I was like, I fixed the car.
It's the one wrench. Yeah, we acted like we'd done something special.
You did. I know us. That's amazing.
Like we closed it. Car turns on. Everyone's just glowing like we're the best things ever through the window.
So during this journey, someone fell apart just because. Where are we? What's going on? And it's like
falling apart is because
it's like, what are we doing? Like we're going to find the other. That's the adventure here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like you're in.
This is it. We're doing
whatever we're doing.
What's the problem with that?
I don't know.
Because we don't even know where we are. We don't even know where they are.
What are they worried about?
I don't know. Anyway, that's our
point. Is like they were having these meltdowns about stuff that didn't matter.
And we're not talking about one person. We're talking about
But
multiple.
also, like, you signed up for this.
Yeah,
you signed up for this. This is the adventure. It's not just it's not just the destination. It's the journey, and we're making funny content along the way. And they ordered centipedes in their ramen. Like, we got to go see what that is.
That's fun. Yeah.
But
I'm not eating it, but I'll watch it.
We find a bridge of sorts that goes over this river.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not made for automobiles.
Oh.
But it looks real cool.
But it's wide enough, so we're like, all right, let's go. And then in the middle of it is this like unexpected pyramid structure that is a straight up jump.
It looks like a pyramid at a skate park.
It looked like a pyramid at a skate park. Concrete like this.
So you got to jump it.
Well, it came on it very quickly, but yeah, we jumped it.
Hell yeah.
And then,
wait, and somebody didn't like that?
Well, they were asleep.
Oh my God, they were asleep.
Oh.
They were asleep, but then when they woke up...
Wait, did they get hurt when you jumped it?
Just their feelings. Just like...
Right, they weren't like seriously injured.
No, there was nothing wrong.
No, it was abrupt.
Right, but
it was shocking, but it didn't warrant the reaction it got.
They melted.
Meltdown.
They had a huge meltdown.
A very vocal, loud meltdown that then lasted... That he brought up for the next week, every day.
Do I know this person?
No,
you don't.
Is this a Gumball?
You know who we were looking for, and then we found the person we were looking for.
Yeah,
and then it all worked out. It all worked out.
But I do remember a surprise. It's such a cool. I always was envious of everybody on the Gumball. I was like, man, that seems like.
But the person we were looking for just ended up being drunk the entire time, and then at some point, like I had to take care of them. And
they were. I think they were drunk up until like 2019.
But what? I didn't go to Gumball, so I know it wasn't me.
That was the first Gumball we did in 2005. That was the first one, And for those of you who don't know, Gumball is like this race around the world. It was 1,000 miles.
Rally.
It's a rally.
It's a rally.
1,000 miles in 3
race.
different countries. So we did 1,000 miles in Europe, where we went through Serbia in a war zone, and then we took all the cars to Thailand, where we like raced Lambos.
Drove from Phuket to Bangkok,
and then in America, and then 1,000 more miles in America. But
it's amazing. Like they've been doing it. They just did 25 years.
It's one of the coolest experiences. And we probably did it 6, 7, 8, 9 times, maybe.
Yeah, and we're friends with Max, who created it, and they've been a great supporter of our foundation through Gumball. They support the skate park project. They just did a whole activation, gave a bunch of boards away in Cambodia. Like they're amazing.
Cool. Every time I see it on Instagram, because I'll get the emails and stuff like, oh, we're going, and I'm like, oh, I want to go back. I would love to go on right now.
I was going to try to go for part of it this time.
Yeah.
Because we were doing a thing with Skateistan in Cambodia.
Oh, awesome.
And TSP, but the baby was due that week. And I would have missed the birth. So
can't do that.
Sorry, Max. And now a word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, with the holidays creeping up faster than your aunt's fruitcake recipe, I've got something way better to share with you. If you want to look sharp for all those festive gatherings and maybe finally win that Best Groomed at the Family Dinner Award, is that an award? I hope so.
Check out Manscaped's latest masterpiece, the Chairman Pro Package. Trust me, it's like the Rudolph for your face, guiding you to a smooth, irritation-free shave.
Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using the code HAWKWOLF for 20% off plus free shipping.
Look, my face is overrated, but my package is on point. I need to make sure that thing is looking good because maybe not so much anymore, but that thing, you never know when I'm going to pull it out. And sometimes I'm in a hurry because I'm always busy because I'm in demand, if you know what I mean. And then I got a nick, and now I can't reveal because someone will be like, what the hell is that? You got a cut in your package. That looks suspect, son. You can't afford that. I couldn't.
But wait, there's more. The Chairman Pro has Flex Adjust technology, which is basically like the holiday miracle of shaving. It's like Santa's elves made it just for you. The blades and pivoting head adjust to every curve of your face and neck as if they had the gift of foresight. So go ahead, kiss that awkward jawline patch goodbye. No more pretending it doesn't exist while you hope nobody notices under the mistletoe.
And it's waterproof. Yeah, if you shave standing in front of the mirror out of the bathroom, then things spill on the floor and then you got to clean it up. If you do it in the shower, it just goes down the drain. Bob's your uncle.
Get the Chairman Pro package today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code HAWKWOLF at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code HAWKWOLF at manscaped.com.
Back to the show. So you would still go?
If for stuff like that, yeah. If it fell in line,
you said a section, so you wouldn't do the whole thing.
Probably, if it fell in line with like I'm a huge supporter of Skateistan. Obviously, it's skate park projects close to my heart, and because they were so collaborative in the mix, and they were going to do a full thing at the Skateistan facility and give away a bunch of boards on behalf. I was like, yeah, that's all. That's.
But
my
I'm
wheelhouse.
asking, like, would you do it for fun?
Well,
it's hard.
It's
to
hard
devote,
because you kind of go off grid for.
You have to devote 10 days.
Because you're kind of
like be driving most of the time.
Well, you don't have 10 days.
That's hard.
That's what's hard. But also,
but if you had 10 days, like let's say your wife is like, "I'm sick of you. Like go away for 10 days," and then everybody at Tony Hawk was
if I had a good crew, like if it was because the crew it's
always
what
good.
Makes everything
right. You don't want somebody that's blacked out the whole time or somebody that freaks out because you got airborne. Because if you're on a Gumball,
thank you.
If you're on a Gumball and somebody gets airborne, you celebrate. Like
I mean, the rest of us.
I know the code.
Look, all I know that Mike V was also in the car, and the other guy's meltdown was the funniest thing that Mike V had ever heard in his life, and just made fun of it for the next week. Right. Mike V was so hyped on it.
Yeah, because Mike V can go on a Gumball completely by himself for the next 6 months, and he'd be like, "I'm completely content."
But what was fun for us, but also the most challenging for us, is that we were on these side missions to go find places to ride, to skate, to ride his bike, and get clips, and everyone else is like. They wake up, they get breakfast, they get in their car,
and try to win.
And try to get to the party.
Well, it's not win, but trying to get to the checkpoints.
Get to the party?
Well, every night there's sort of checkpoints you got to get to, and they have a party every night.
So, like, a lot of people wanted to get to the party early because that's really what they're doing.
Or just on time, but also because it eats into the hours you're going to drive the next day.
Oh,
so it's like
if you don't get there on time,
you're behind.
And then you have to get up early?
Yeah, so if you get there at midnight, the party's already going.
Well, there is an ending. Do you have to be at the end of the week? You got to be somewhere. So if you're falling behind every day, you've got to, you know what I mean? You're going to have
So
one
you
day.
didn't get to be at the party, you just keep
Right.
driving.
Yes.
Yeah.
That. But
Did that happen?
Or that's where your hotel
no,
is.
it's not
and
that.
part
It's
of
just
it.
that we had to leave extra early to go on these side missions to go find the skate park.
So they were
In-
16-hour days every day.
you know, or to go find some street spot or whatever.
So you
whatever
guys
it is
were
we
like
want to do.
annoying to be with if you weren't a skater or a rider, like riding.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
we're not the party crew either.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to get to the party, but,
That party was also where we had to sleep that night.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we had to pay for the hotel because it's part of the deal. You know, you have a hotel that everyone is
Wait,
at,
if you didn't
so-
get there by a certain time, you didn't get a hotel room?
Well, if you got there at 4 a.m, then you just we
keep
were
driving.
in some other town.
or if you didn't make it to that town,
You'd have to get a hotel
you
somewhere
have to
else.
get a hotel somewhere else.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, but
Did
I
that
always
happen?
Not to us.
Not to us.
No,
yeah.
but to other people, yeah.
I always felt though because of that meltdown, because you invited me on the rest of those gumballs. I was like, oh, he's invited me because I'm the only one that will make sure, you know what I mean? He'll have a teammate at some point at the end of
Why
the
does
week.
it sound like it's only one person that melted down?
It wasn't.
No, it was everything.
Well, you're just talking about this one.
Well, that one was
just
the,
one
that was the
instant.
peak meltdown for sure.
He was the winner of all meltdowns.
Yeah, because it just lasted. It just kept like
It never ended.
yeah.
But he kept complaining about
Well,
it.
yeah, but also I mean, and other things too. Yeah, I mean, it was a
That
whole.
person
It was his tipping point.
But as we got later, even what people that we thought were stable started falling apart. It was
Okay,
like,
why did
dude.
they fall asleep? Why fall apart? Because you didn't get airborne while they were asleep. What did they crack from? Sorry if this is boring, but I just want to know.
They just.
I remember one guy was bummed because he saw someone he knew at the party, and she didn't like. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
She wasn't into
didn't-
him?
What's that?
She wasn't into him.
Well, or didn't give him the same sort of friendly, like I've known you forever.
Yeah,
You know,
and
like
she was
what's
like,
up? How
you're-
are you? She's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, what's up? And then he fell apart because of that.
Well, she knew what she was doing.
I don't
saying.
know. It was just stuff like that. It was.
Those are the
Wow.
best years of my life.
But you know what I mean. But it brings the vibe down. Like
That's the saddest thing I've ever.
No, it was
but it brings
no.
the vibe down when someone is like that falling apart, and you're like, dude, it's all right. What does it matter?
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like no matter where we were, like I look back at the photos and me and you were having the best time ever.
Yeah.
Literally the best time ever. Every time, everything wasn't like I have a photo of us jumping to a road sign or something, pointing at a road sign where we're at, somewhere in like Estonia or something, and nothing's going on, but we look like the happiest people on the planet. And the rest of the car is in the car crying, probably. Watching us just like me set a camera up, us jumping.
because we're not moving.
Oh wow! Now it's starting to make sense.
But also, like, there was one tour we did in Mini Cooper, so it was 5 grown men with all our gear, all the bikes and everything in a Mini Cooper for a
Oh
thousand
yeah,
not
we had to
one
strap,
Mini
we had to
Cooper.
strap
One Mini Cooper.
we had to strap the bike on the
roof,
on the roof or on the back?
on the back.
On the back, yeah.
But like, some of it was just like it was
insane.
stressful.
no
Yeah.
leg room,
No anything room.
like squashed
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like
for,
this
for 16 hours.
Yeah.
No, but a week of it.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to go to the Gumball. Everything else, like the airborne and stuff, I was like, hell yeah, man. Like a chick left you, ha. But man, nah, that's not cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chick left you.
But okay, so we should show part of this, but
You got to find it.
there was I can find it. He has
I
it.
might be able to find it.
Yeah, we. So I don't even know how that came about. So one year we went, and somehow we got offered the stunt vehicle from the A-Team
A-Team.
movie.
Ooh.
Like it's the picture
Right?
vehicle.
It's the picture vehicle, which means that it has barely seats.
They have removed the gas tank.
The gas tank only holds
100 miles worth of gas.
like the gas tank holds less than 10 gallons because
Oh.
it's a stunt car, and if it blows up, they don't want it to cause a big
It's a
fire.
roach.
Yeah.
It has no speedometer. It has no odometer.
No air conditioner.
No air conditioning, so we don't like it. Yes, it looks hilarious. We're driving in the 18 man,
Yeah.
and it's internally
It's the worst environment
the
imaginable.
worst environment. It has it has a driver's seat, which is okay. It had a captain's chair
is
that was
okay.
kind of bolted in, but not really. So it's
Yeah.
going like this the whole
Yeah.
time, and then no back seats.
How many people?
Five of us
So 4 people
have to sit on luggage.
Luggage or like this bench seat that's just like this. You know?
Okay.
I think it was a bench seat for like 2 of us and,
And it
some else
sounds
had
like
luggage.
you had to make sure you got gas all the time.
And then it's
All
got
the
all
time.
these all these levers because it's supposed to look like the A team. You know, these are supposed
None
to
of
be,
them work.
None of them work, but we got so harassed at the Canadian border that we had to turn around, right? Didn't we have to turn around?
They wouldn't let
did
you
we?
bring the car through?
They thought it was
I think we did have to go around.
Yeah, because everyone else went through Canada. That
To
was
go
the
to
direct
Niagara
route
Falls
to go to Niagara Falls, and they wouldn't let us into Canada with this car.
Because you had an
But it's
18
also a
band.
picture car. I think it's because it doesn't even prove that it exists.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
it had no registration?
No,
or
it
anything?
was an illegal vehicle, I don't think.
Oh.
yeah,
and
but
so-
also they were just like, "What do these switches do?" Like nothing.
Nothing.
Like it's A team.
They couldn't figure that out. They got 18 in America.
It was just more like you're not driving through Canada with that thing.
Wait,
like,
Canada doesn't know who B.A. Baracus is?
No, they have no plan. They have no plan.
It's like they haven't lived.
But yeah, great times. I miss those. I don't know if that ever happens again. I guess in our life. Yes. That's sort of like just.
Well, Max offered for us to get the band back together and do it.
There you go.
I didn't get that call.
I had a grandchild due. It was
Gosh,
not.
dude.
It was just the timing was really bad.
I would have just C-section early. I'm just kidding.
I do want to talk to you about. Okay, you've done some. You have evolved from being just a BMX rider to being a stuntman, like actual stuntman, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing stunts the whole time. Like my first stunt job was in high school, and then I do jobs sort of between 1995
In
and
high school, on a movie set.
Yeah, or
Okay.
commercials or whatever it was. I mean, yeah, but they were all bike related, right? There was always like, because I worked on Pacific Blue and doubled
Right.
like mountain bike cops, and
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 2005 I did this movie called Stick It, which is like a gymnastics movie, and there's a big BMX sequence in the beginning, and then Mall Cop happened where I play the bad guy. And we do bike
Mike V.
stuff, and with Mike V, yeah, and Jason did it well.
Yeah, I was there.
And then it wasn't till then I started doing TV host stuff. So I was like a TV host, all those adventure shows. And then somewhere around 2012, after I did Ant-Man, is when I really started focusing on it more. Like I just spent half the summer. I bet about 6 weeks this summer in Fort Worth. Every other week I flew back out there, so it felt like the whole summer, working for a guy, this legendary stunt guy, Wade Allen, and another guy, Gabe Nunez, on the Paramount Plus show Lioness, the second season. And so I was just out there the whole time dying. That's because, I mean, I'm brown. I'm just most of the stuff I play is like a terrorist or a bad guy or, you know what I mean? Someone's bodyguard. So I just spent all summer.
How do you feel about that stereotype?
I mean, it sucks. But there's no confusion on why I'm there.
Oh yeah, you were the terrorist in Weird Al movie too.
In everything. I was Mexican military.
But
in Weird
that
Al
was
movie.
he was Mexican military, speaking Spanish, and first thing I saw was like, that is not him speaking Spanish.
You text me and go, oh, he's like, I saw you in the Weird Al movie, but I was more surprised that you were speaking Spanish.
Mr. Escamilla.
No.
Senor Escamilla.
Yeah, un poquito. Yes. But the funny thing is they had us, me and the other stunt guys, guy Chad Guerrero, we both got hired for it. And so we got to our dress rooms and I could hear him in the other room trying to learn the Spanish lines too, because he didn't speak Spanish either. And we actually say them all in Spanish terribly. And then they dubbed us to like a real Spanishy.
Yeah.
Man,
So,
I got dubbed in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
everyone did except me, I think.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
So
I was
why?
like,
Because you couldn't emote.
I had to do. I look over and there's a bomb that's been set in the kitchen, and I see it and go, you know what I mean, like, oh crap, or some shit like that. Somebody else who's American was like, no way, or some shit like that.
Because that sounded American.
And I was
How
like,
backstage.
yeah.
It was like,
Somebody who sounded like Tony Hawk.
yeah, and I was like, hey,
no
and,
way.
then it blew up, and I'm like, wait, I didn't do
Your
no
accent
way
wasn't good.
good. Like what?
I didn't realize that until I watched it like a year ago with Luna, my daughter, and I was like, that's not Jason's voice. That's not Victor's voice. I don't even think that's Rick Thorne's voice. They
Wow.
dubbed most everybody, which was, pretty funny watching it now.
I don't know how necessary that was, but okay.
I guess we're talking about stunts. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, but I was going to ask you about some bike stunts. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. So it's mostly all me being a terrorist or military, and it's just me dying. Like on Lioness, I bet you I died 30 times.
Are you getting better at dying?
I've been slowly dying since we stopped going on tour. So yeah, I'm pretty good at it now.
Dying inside.
Dying inside. So it's just I just brought it to the outside now. But yeah, no. So it was a really good summer, and it was for a Taylor Sheridan show. So that's the guy who does like Yellowstone and all those big shows. So
sick.
it was like making this. TV shows are different than movies, right? As budget wise, but these shows are such big budget that it's like helicopters and explosions and tanks blowing up, and so it was a pretty fun job this summer. But like one day we had to shoot a scene where I sort of get shot by a 50 cal. I'm standing in front of a truck that's gotten blown up and exploding next to me, and I jump back into the door. It's open, it shuts, I fall on the ground. But we'll shoot that scene 50 times.
Wow.
So it's like it's taken a toll, but luckily I have a new body, so we're good.
Oh yeah, he went full stem cells in TJ.
And it's been changed my life.
Really?
You went to Bike Accelerator, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to CPI here, that's just right over the border in Tijuana, and I was at the point where I was not that I was done riding bikes, that was for sure, but I was done walking, I was done working, I was would spend 2 to 4 hours like just focusing on my breathing because my pain in my hips were so bad and my back. And now I've gone once back for a checkup. I'm actually gonna go back next week and get more on my knees because
How long has it been?
I've been 18 months since I've been, almost 18 months. But because I said my knees would take multiple because it's just bone on bone. And but in 30 days, my back went from 100% pain to 0 pain, and I've had 0 pain since.
Wow.
Awesome.
You can see the scans, you can see my back growing back. My knees went from riding my bike for 30 minutes and being swollen for 3 days to I can ride all day and they don't hurt the next day. I can snowboard like half a day. I can tell, it's literally been the best thing that's ever happened to me. And that was like life changing because it was like, oh, I got to figure out how I'm going to make money, not leaving my house. And
I remember seeing you.
You took me.
Yeah.
You drove. I came down.
That's right,
drove
I drove you down there.
You drove me
That's
down
right.
there for my first thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like I had just done a movie right before that. I did Rebel Moon, which is on Netflix, and I worked on it for 20 some days, and I made $28,000. And
that paid
for it.
Procedure.
Yeah, that paid for it. It just paid for it. And I remember
that's with getting a deal, right?
No, that's just the whole thing. Like that was what it cost, 27. Well, because they have a thing where if you recommend somebody, they'll give you some free stem cells, but you have to get a certain amount to collect. Yeah. And I'd made videos because there was no one to talk to, because I saw the only thing I saw is you and Rampage getting out of a car like it was the most painful thing in the world. Trying to get out of a van afterwards.
Okay, I wasn't in the same video with Rampage.
Oh, okay. Maybe else. I'm just not remembering.
But you did see me walk around. Because if we get in a lot of spots,
it's
if you get it in one knee, you can use the rest of your body to get around. Yeah. If you get it in both your ankles, both your knees, and your hip, and both wrists and your shoulder,
and your back, I couldn't
when
move.
that kicks in, you're just like, duh.
It's like they tell you
walk. They're like, try to stay mobile for as long as you can. And I was like, okay, and it's in a mall, and I was like, so I'll just walk around the mall, and they go, yeah, for like as long as you can. I was like, okay, well, I will go for as long as I can, and where we're from, like we can take it, and I'm walking, and I'm like, okay, and then at one point I was standing there, and my chick was going to get some food or something, and I was like, I can't go in there, I'm just gonna stand here, and because I had both my ankles shot, I couldn't. I was finding it difficult to stay standing. Because, like, if you lean forward, you got to catch yourself. If you lean back, you catch yourself. And I almost fell over, and this woman just comes out of nowhere and comes over and goes, excuse me, can I help you? And I was like, what? He's like, do you need me to get the police? And I was like, the police? What? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm okay. I had needles. And then that's when I was like, can I have a wheelchair? Because I was going to fall on my face.
Wow.
Like, I couldn't. But I did a couple of hours where I was just like, it got slower and slower.
Yeah.
And then these came
really
in,
painful.
like they come in more like a mummy. I was just like a mummy. But that shit, like you said, really works.
I got everything from here down, every joint, 170 million into.
Man, for 20 grand, that's an awesome deal.
Yeah. So it's changed my life. If knowing how it worked for me, I'd pay $100,000 if I could afford it. But
that's how much they charge.
When I woke up, because I had to be put under because I got my back done. Yeah. When I woke up and I went to go pee for the first time, I went, and I looked at the dude, And I just started laughing because I couldn't believe, I was like, I couldn't believe how bad and sore I was. But with that, every hour you get better, and within like a day and a half, you're just like, oh, it's sore. Yeah. It just feels like, it's like first workout you've ever done with like David Goggins or something. Is your first workout. Your whole body just feels wrecked.
So I only had my back and my neck.
So you could.
And then it felt like a day after a bad whiplash to me, or a day after a bad chicken neck.
Oh, okay.
When I went back and did my neck, and I did my neck and my knees again, it was like 50% of what it felt like. I was like, oh, it's not so bad. But it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. As far as like thinking that it was game over, you know, I was trying to get right in my head going, okay, well, I've had a better life than most people ever will.
Right.
I just got to accept that the rest of it is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But it's been,
and the reason that you had such horrific injuries is because you're doing stuff like doing a backflip off of a curved rail into a ditch.
It was a lot of, and you know, when you're doing it, you're like, this is, we're just like, oh, I'm hurt again today. I'm hurt again today.
Yeah.
And then you guys know, it's like, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what they were talking about. When you're older, you're going to be a mess. And now I'm older and I was a mess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's given me everything. And I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be doing stunts now.
Take me through the rail loop.
Well, I you know, at that time, all the video games were out. So we had your video game and we had the Matt Hoffman Pro BMX video game, and you could do flips off everything, like grinds and all that stuff. And so I was like, oh, I think I could do that. And so I built this rail with no real, like, you know, I don't know if you, for me, it's like, I will think of something and it doesn't really get scary until I'm like, oh, we're dropping in to do this. Like, this is how I've committed. Yeah. And so I built this rail and then I put it in my backyard, and I lived on the second floor.
Oh, then you're talking about the one in the ditch.
Yeah, in the ditch.
Okay, yeah.
So I built that rail because it's kind of a rail that curved up, and I was like, I'm going to do this. But I never got scared because I think in my head I was never going to do it. And then one day I walked out from the balcony, I looked at it, and like my whole stomach sank. I was like, oh shit, I'm doing this. And then I went and built boxes at the park. Like, because in stunts, we fall into boxes, right? And so I put the rail up, and I had enough to buy it, and I could buy boxes, and I had just enough to make like a couple attempts.
Oh my God.
And not that wide. And so I go off it and get flung and miss the boxes. And then I got upside down twice onto my chest into the boxes. I was like, all right, let's do it. Because the boxes were ruined. And then
that's a huge ditch too.
I went to the ditch like a decade ago. I don't even want to ride down it now.
Yeah.
I don't even want to drop in on it. It's so tall, so steep, and so
rough.
Why
that ditch?
Because I knew people were going to have a problem with me building something that was like a big no-no, like wasn't street or wasn't real. And so I was like, I got to do it into something that like no one can say shit about. So I did it with no helmet, no nothing. I landed on my chest. The two times I got upside down, one I landed on my chest and I burnt down my knuckles to the bone. And so that's why in the video clip I have gloves on, because my hands are bleeding profusely. But yeah, but it happened. And then no one did it again. Other guy did it. He did it, tried to do it to flat, landed on his head and got knocked out.
How do you know which side
to grind on?
To use? Yeah.
Well, same way as you would be, like, is backside or front side? You know,
whatever
like,
your strongest
whatever your strongest is, you know what I mean?
I guess I would want to be on the toe side.
Yeah,
backside.
Like even on a skateboard, you know what I mean? Like, which are you stronger, front side or backside? If you're going to do something wild, like if you're going to do like a 5.0 to 360 flip in, you know what I mean? Like, where's one that would be like, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's no different than like being a right-handed pitcher or left-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
You just have a way. Yeah. And so.
Okay, but then what I was actually talking about, and I wanted to hear about that one too, because that one looked deadly.
You're talking about where he grinded upside down.
The full loop.
Oh, the full loop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Were you on fire?
No, that was something else. The full loop was for a Nitro Circus show, right? And the only other time I'd done a loop before was this wooden loop, and I died on it. It was before, it was in 2000, and no one had ever done it. I think maybe one person had tried it on a bike or done it on a bike, but in my knowledge, no one had done it yet.
And you seen that one?
And there's no pads. Yeah.
He tried to do a wooden loop.
And I went too fast, and I just G'd out at 90. Went all the way around the whole thing, or up to the top, and then fell and landed back on my bike. I lucked out. It was like the Schaefer one, right?
Oh,
yeah.
But not as bad. Like, I didn't flip as many times.
But his bike went around and then he fell on it as it.
Oh.
And so, but we had no pads. That pipe was getting torn down the next day, so I just had to be like, I guess we'll just go. So fast forward a decade to the thing, and it was during X Games.
I like how that was your first attempt at a loop. You didn't learn how to do a loop, and you're like, I'll just grind one.
So
yeah.
While I was over here killing myself trying to learn it, I had about 60 tries before we built
the grind one or just the loop? Okay.
So, but we built a platform so I can grind up and then fall out of it onto a platform to practice.
It was so janky.
And then when I see the show, Tony looks at Matt Hoffman and goes, I don't know why he thinks he can do this. He isn't good at loops, clearly. And then it shows a cut of me doing the other one.
Yeah.
So thanks for the confidence. But I was psyched that you and Matt and everyone showed up.
You did loop out.
But also, I'm talking to someone who has done a loop.
Yes.
So we have the experience.
No, you guys,
we did speak from experience.
He wasn't lying. You weren't lying.
We did speak from experience.
Yeah, you weren't lying. I laughed a lot when I saw it on. But I got, and the whole thing was Eric Roner goes, well, you're on it. You're not gonna be able to pull unless we pull the mats away. You know what I mean? Like even if you get around,
yeah, the mats are in your way now.
So I just said like, I don't care because what happened is like it was 4x4 grinds. It was all four, right? All four pegs.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is you got the lean perfect because if you were off a little bit, your tire would hit it and it would eject you. Right? And so what happened? I would come out of it. But
I would say, watching it and you're trying to get to that upper pad level just to get at least halfway around. Yeah. You were right in the middle, less than half the time.
Yes. So
you know what I mean. So half the time his wheel hits and then it's
it ejected.
Over.
Yeah, I would just get ejected. Half the time I was getting ejected.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, guys, no matter what, or I said I'm going to do it, right? And so what happened was when I came around, I came out of it a little bit, but I saw momentum and I clicked back into it. Right. So my other buddy Dave heard the no peg noise, and so he threw a pad, and then I just came back in and I ran into it. So I'm like, oh my god, that would have made it.
Yeah.
And so I just said, no matter what, I don't care. Never, don't throw the pad, don't throw it, and it didn't go well.
I fell on the rail.
I came out and I got about 2/3 of the way, and then I front flipped off. I came front flipped out of it.
It was so
and I landed like
it was
in
so
the rail.
brutal.
So I cracked a rib and an ankle because I went to the doctor's like the next day, and so I broke my. So I went back. I duct taped my ankle up. I was like, don't throw the pad, and I went all the way through it. Came around, and we just built it wrong. We had the rail meet the ground where we needed to have it go flat and then drop out. And so when I hit the meet the ground, it kind of bolted me like I hit a kink, and I just washed out as I came out of it.
So he came down. He grinded the loop,
whole thing,
came down on his wheels,
washed out of it.
And then there was just so much force on his wheels because it didn't build the loop properly.
And but it.
So then you rebuilt it?
No, I will never do that again.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. But somebody else rebuilt it like a couple years ago at that Swamp Fest contest. You know?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
They built a smaller one. I think theirs maybe was 10 foot. This one was 14 feet. It was like the right size of a.
That's my loop.
Like a legit one. And I remember I spoke to the guy who runs it, and I'm like, yeah, you should make it smaller. And you should make it go in and out. And someone did it relatively quick, like, within, enough tries not to die.
They stand on the shoulder of giants.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But, it's like anything, once you think it's possible.
Yeah. Well, I did the same thing. My first loop, I designed it improperly and couldn't make it out.
When was that?
95.
That wasn't for the end, right?
No.
Okay, it was after that?
But I learned from that experience that, I need to make it this way, and then we shot the end in 97.
How'd you make it? They couldn't make it out.
Because I made it a full pipe. So it's a full pipe. It was an 8-foot full pipe.
Oh.
With an entrance.
And no out.
And an exit.
Okay.
But what I didn't consider is that I have to traverse across 8 feet. I have to carve 8 feet while doing a loop that I've never done before.
Yeah.
Or
you come back into it. Yeah.
Or you come back into it. And so every time I just kept coming back into it. And then finally I made it around and saw the exit, but did like a quick turn towards it. And that ended up making me shoot off the edge. And then I did like a half backflip out. And that was the make.
Yeah.
For that day.
How close did you get when you guys built one inside the bull rink for the end?
I made that one.
You made that one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
because that one was just a track.
Oh, what did you pause? How's your thing? Oh, you think pauses on a 900? Is that how I couldn't remember. I thought it was paused on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because everyone on the team, including Per, my partner, was like, "Oh, well, you're going to do 900 for the video," and I was like, "I'm going to try, but there's no guarantees."
Yeah.
And I couldn't commit to one that day because I mean, honestly, because the last time I committed to one, I broke my rib, and we were in Tijuana, and I was like, that was just.
And
in
that was
my
also
head.
Tijuana in the '90s.
But that was just in my head. I was like, if I get rocked, like, what's gonna happen? Wow.
So are they vacuuming? What's
It's a
happening
busy
there?
day today.
Yeah, busy day. Jeez. Yeah, but I that was one of the gnarliest stunts to create. That was one of the gnarliest commitments I've ever seen. That whole day was.
Which the grind
Your
loop?
grinding loop, yeah, it was one of the heaviest things I've ever seen go
think
down.
it's the scariest thing I've ever done on my bike.
Because
Because every single time is, I'm dying. Everyone was like, it's like, it'd be like trying to, every
it
time
was
it's like,
so violent.
it was pretty violent. And the other guys who were trying it couldn't even get past 90.
Do
They
you
were
really
close.
think that if he had not thrown the pad on that one, that you would have made it out?
I mean, assuming that, here's the only difference, I've watched it so many times now.
Yeah.
Assuming that the same thing that happened, that I kinked, but I think because I unclicked and came back in, I wasn't going as fast.
Oh, okay.
So I might have just been able to handle the
not
kink.
slammed
You know what I
into
mean?
it. Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, even though I rarely ever feel this way, it to me feels like I did it.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like
I thought you
it
did
was.
it. Yeah.
It's
It
like
was
Carrie
built wrong.
Hart backflip.
No, because he fell like that. Yes and no.
Whoa.
But no, yes and no.
Hey, I've been busting his balls for that since the day he did
Oh,
it.
I was there when you got your
Yeah,
backflip
I mean, the
bitch
thing with-
tattoo.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
The thing with Carrie's is
That's fair. That was fair.
Carrie's changed the possibilities.
Yeah.
And people started
Yeah.
doing it. It's not like people are
I
like,
say-
oh, let's do a grind loop now. You know,
I say made it.
Yeah.
Just to make him feel better.
this one, if we would have built it different, I think we would have had a different outcome. It would have been, I would have just rode out.
Right.
You know, because you're locked in once that point. You would have just.
So gnarly.
But yeah, it was.
Do you know? But here's what's ironic about it. Do you know how easy it would have been for you to do a regular loop after that?
Yeah.
Probably pretty easy.
Yeah, if you do the math, it's like grind loop or
Yeah, and also
loop.
you don't have to stay in the track.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you just have to go.
I've never done a wood one.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never done one. I've done a ton of.
that was
I've done
my
a ton
point,
of
is
cradles.
That's what we're proposing.
That's what I'm saying.
I've done a ton of cradles, like just right on the edge, you know,
Yeah.
that are just, pretty much the same, but I've never had to follow the line.
Yeah.
And so deep down, I'm still kind of scared about it. And you guys used to set it up every year, right? The loop out here, and I always wanted to come, and I never could make it for whatever reason.
Yeah, I stopped setting it up when Jimmy got hurt.
How bad did Jimmy get hurt?
Jimmy broke his hip,
Oh, that's a bad break.
and he had it. He had it like, I've seen plenty of people do
What,
it.
he just at the end just force himself into
No,
the ground?
he just caught a bad one. He did, like every
Oh, he
once in a
had
while,
it, and he was doing it,
He
and
was
then
doing
he got a
it.
bad crack.
He was getting into the stunt pad safely. It was like he had made it all the way around and then only hit the one on the flat. And it was like, all right, you got it. Pull the one out, and then he, what I've done.
It's unlucky.
Done it. Just Schaefer missed the pump, and then he went flying around in the air and broke his hip. But I was like, if Jimmy got that close.
It can happen anywhere.
And got broke off. No one is safe.
No one's safe.
Like there's no one I can trust for, like without question be like, oh, you got it. I'll put it up for you.
Yeah.
Right.
If that happened to Jimmy.
Yeah, I think that's a fair, because even on bikes you can come out of it, early. You coming, because then you're not carving enough. You're coming out early. Have you seen that slam of the motorcycle dude doing it at Nitro, and he just comes in and just comes out pointing straight down?
No.
Have you seen the one in Wheels does it on the? Have you seen the one Wheels doing it on the wheelchair?
No.
Yeah, he slams so hard, does a Schaefer, but he's stuck to a chair, right? And I just hear someone in the back and go, "Oh my god, I thought you were gonna get up and walk away."
Wow.
It's kind of funny.
It is really funny.
If he's here laughing, it's funny. If he's not, I'm not laughing.
No, Wheel. It is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, those days are not happening.
Well, you made the
anymore.
most of them.
Yeah, I feel like, because I, not only with the bike stuff, but also I got to do some really strange things on bike, like flipping a helicopter and those, grind loops and then I went on these. Then I kind of did the TV host where we did like the wildest stuff ever on the planet.
Yep.
It feels like I'm like the.
That was like a Wild Boys type of thing you were doing.
Yeah, it was like a Wild Boys meets like a. Everyone used to say Jackass, but it was nothing like Jackass. We did jobs or rituals or things that other people did in these other countries.
What was the heaviest one?
There were so many heavy. If you Google like 10 most dangerous jobs in the world, we did them all in that location. There was a couple that were gnarly in Lebanon. We trained with the Lebanese Special Forces, where I sat there against a wall, and you had like balloons here and one in my mouth, and then they from like 40 paces they shot the balloons out, and then I turned sideways and they shot the balloon out of my mouth, which is pretty heavy. There was now I look back, I remember they were like, "Do you want to wear a bulletproof vest?" I'm like, "If I need to wear a vest, we have a real problem. then there's no point for me to do this, you know." And I was real depressed at that when we were doing that tour, so I was like, "No, this will be the easiest way for me to go home." The other one,
oh my God,
it was a rough time in my life. And then there's another one where we scuba dived into a Mexican sewer system. And so it's like you put like the Scooby-Doo type like scuba diver helmet on, where it's just like this 80-pound like snuba thing, you know, like, and you put it on, but there's no seal. What it does, it has air that comes in, and the air is constantly forcing out, so water can't come in. So we're getting lowered down into this sludge.
Why?
Well, because all the sewage in Mexico City goes into one plant, and that plant's got to go through a filtration system. Sometimes that filtration system gets clogged. They pull out, they set a few different dead bodies every year, but a lot of times something. So we were working there that day. We're going in to unclog it. And I think we pulled out like a dead dog or something that was clogging the thing. But what the problem is I'm going in first, and they didn't, because everyone speaks English either in all these countries. So I didn't understand that there's a knob here that I can adjust the airflow. So as I'm going under, I'm getting lowered under, and I could feel the sewage water coming out. You know, and it's like here, and I'm talking through radio. I'm like, "Guys, there's water coming." He's like, "That's normal." I'm like, "This doesn't feel normal." And then it gets to like my lips. I'm like, "It's touching my lips. It's touching my lips." And I'm out of this thing, walking. So I'm getting back into the cage, and it's completely pitch black, you know. And so I get out, and I'm about to drown in shit and everything else.
That's a death metal song.
Drowning in shit. Mm-hmm. Good to know.
I'm gonna write it.
It'll be your theme song for the Jason Ellis show.
It's huge. Everyone's talking about it.
So anyways, yeah, that one was pretty gnarly. Anything with animals, because we did a lot of stuff where we would like tame cobras, like you grab a hold of them, and then you realize later that there's no anti-venom there. There's no way to get to a hospital. We did that was, there was a ton of those type things. Dude. We did a lot of really gnarly things. I did surgery on animals. I like flew planes. Like, it was wild.
What do you mean you did surgery on an animal?
Like in, I want to say like, it was in Budepest or Turkey or there's somewhere, or maybe Romania. There's like 2 million stray dogs in the city. So what they do is they catch the dog. No, they catch the dog.
Yeah. So you're
fixing, and then they go and they fix the dog, and then they re-release it back in the same neighborhood. Yeah. But this one had a huge tumor on his arm, so I got to like fully cut it out. I also like neutered a horse by myself.
All right.
And like, yeah, I just have like, there's a tool where they slice the balls, you pull them out, and then there's like a whole tool that like crimps it and seals the wound. I'll show you a picture. Asleep? No, the horse is chilling.
Chilling.
Yeah.
That's the word you're going to use for that.
I think after, I think once you get your balls cut off,
if you cut my balls off, I'm not chilling, son.
Well,
I'm reverse chilling.
Reverse chill.
I'm
like
kicking
that.
back, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right? That's when it's time to kick back, horsey. Save your balls and knock this doctor out.
So we did a lot of wild stuff.
Balls and shit.
Yeah, a lot of it.
And that was the heyday.
That was the heyday.
Those were the days. Huh?
Oh yeah, when I could just cut some testicles out of an animal.
Yeah,
it was just like I knew it was going to be a good week.
Not everybody says that.
Yeah, well, everybody should.
Swimming and shit, cutting out balls.
Yeah, time of your life, really.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, the weird thing is
no
that was
wonder
after.
You liked the Gumball.
Yeah, that was after Gumball. So, that was a...
That's a vacation.
Yeah, it was a vacation compared to Gumball.
Man.
I went from people losing their shit to swimming in other people's.
Yeah.
It's good.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. That
was good.
But you were always solid.
All right, so what's the next that you're not supposed to talk about?
No. Nothing. What do I got going on though? Just stunts. I have a deal with Ford Bronco. So we're like, honestly, the Ford Bronco thing kind of saved me mentally because I was in a little bit of rough shape after COVID, just like, cause there was no work for years. Mm-hmm. And I realized that like all my self-worth is directly tied to whatever I'm working on. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't worked on anything in years. And then this Ford Bronco Ambassador program reached out. And so it's an off-road program. And so it meant every month, for at least 1 week in a month, I would have to go out and shoot stuff because there's not a lot of off-road in LA. And so I was getting outdoors. So it's been making me get outdoors and doing trips, which is back on the road, which is what I like, you know.
Are you shooting that solo?
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff solo. So it's a lot of like...
he's like the master cup cam.
Yeah, so it's like, Survivor Man or whatever his name. Setting up cameras and things and flying drones while driving and setting it. So everything I shoot, I would say 90% of it is all by myself, which is... It's fun, but it's also exhausting. But it's been good. It's been like because of my daughter too. It's made it so every month we almost take a road trip together.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
been like, because I think the passion I had for riding bikes and doing all those stuff was transferred automatically to being a dad. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of stuff, and we actually did. This is usually like this. It was a couple years ago. I was trying to figure out something to do with Luna, and so I bought, and my girlfriend has a daughter as well, and so I bought these. I made these 2 treasure boxes and filled them with jewels, about $100 of jewels and coins that I bought on the internet, and then I went about 3.5 hours out and I buried them in this lava field, out in the middle of nowhere, and then me and Jeremy Ray helped me paint watercolor this treasure map, which I made based on like roadside attractions. Yeah. And then I put it in my friend's store, and we went shopping one day and found this treasure map and wrote a story, and then we were about to go on a trip to the Grand Canyon.
How old were they?
They were probably like 6, 7,
so
and 5
sick.
maybe. And so then we went on this road trip for a week and found all these roadside attractions that were like the clues to other. And then we got to the lava field, and it was like very detailed to like how many steps out. And they are digging it out of these lava rocks, and they just find it, and they're just screaming, "We're rich! We're rich!" And it was like the most epic week ever. And
At what point do they realize you created it?
They don't know still.
Well, wait a minute. How come? Well, then when did they realize that the jewels they found?
Well, because they're so little. Anything? Well, when they're so little, it's not like they're putting it in the bank and planning to spend it. My daughter she's like, she gave it to some of the people.
They're not having it appraised.
Yeah, and so she's like, I got to go back to the store. We get the map, and I got to share the treasure with them. So she would just share it with her friends and give it away. Great. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're doing good.
So does that mean she's like 18, 19? She's like, hey, Dad.
No, the actual
Did
opposite.
I just blow it and give all that money away?
The opposite. This is what she says to me like a couple months. She goes, Dad, we drove by the store where we bought it. We got to go back in there and get another map. We should go on another treasure hunt.
Well.
So I'm going to probably do another one, but this time...
Wait, how old is she now?
She's 10. She's 10. And my daughter is like, she's 10, but she feels like a 10-year-old in the 80s. Mm-hmm. You know, the other girls kind of want to walk around and be dramatic, and she wants to still play. She just wants to go play outside, right? So, which is okay. You know, I think that's probably a blessing. She had plenty of time to be the other way, but this time I think if we do it this next spring or summer, I'm going to go and actually bury clues along the whole trip like a month earlier.
Wow.
And then go back and like have where she has to swim to the bottom of a swimming hole and move a red rock or something, you know? So
what if you made it something, the treasure, something she actually wanted personally?
Oh, that'd be good.
But then the jig might be up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this point,
like,
when we go on it,
like an iPad or something. I'm joking.
You know, right now she's all about a PlayStation 5.
That's what I'm saying. But what if it's like
finding that at the
what
bottom?
What if it's like a pink PlayStation 5, like the one thing that
I could do that, but I think the gig's up anyways because I think then she still remembers it. But I think now if we did it again, she'd be like,
"We found another map."
Yeah,
weird. Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think she might be like, "Dad." She's sort of caught on to me too. She's like, "My dad did this," but I also think she knows I did it. But she likes the idea of the like.
Yeah.
No, it's
oh
real.
yeah, I tried to run. You know, I was old enough to know there was no Santa, but I just kept going like, "Hey, he's coming, right?"
Luna's same thing. Yeah.
Man,
she lost a tooth the other day. She's like, "Tooth fairy, right?
Yeah.
$20 sound good?"
I could have sworn I saw him one time. I still can't explain it.
Oh yeah.
I swear, man. Like I, get up, try to find Santa, like see what is going on for Christmas. And it's my mum's house. My mum was like super poor too, and so I get up. And I go into the kitchen, and I see dude, it's a guy in a fucking Santa suit, leaving the kitchen and going around the corner. And like, it'd be different if it was like my mom. She ain't dressing as Santa. She had no boyfriend or nothing. Nobody else lived in the house. And if it was a guy that she hired, he would have turned around and said, "Oh, ho, ho," or some shit, not sneak off where I go, "Did I just see the back of Santa?" Because I see the back and I go, "No way." And I run through the kitchen and look down the corridor and he's gone. I'm like, Christmas, I saw Santa.
Good enough for me.
So maybe he is real, Tony. Like I feel
right,
like
well,
your
maybe
whole
that's
like,
maybe that's the journey of life, is that you're young, you believe in it, and then you get jaded and older, and then you don't believe in it, and then you get to be our age, and you're like, maybe it is real.
Well, no, it's. I thought I saw it somewhere. It's like in the beginning you believe in Santa, and then you don't believe in Santa, and then later in life you become Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it works. You know.
Where are you? You become Santa and you believe in him.
I'm okay with that.
Oh.
Okay.
I believe in a lot of
Santa
things.
by proxy. You're working for the big guy, like Elf.
What's proxy? What?
Like you're working for him.
Right. Thank you.
I was on the GoPro, right? Like I was on, and so we would do all these team trips, and there was some kayakers on the team, and they would told this story about their kid who was homeschooled. He's like one of the best kayakers in the world. He's homeschooled, and he believed in Santa until he was like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And one of the times he said he set up a video camera to record Santa, but then shut all the lights off. And so he's like, well, you had to have the lights on to see. But also he also learned too, because parents, he's like, and they always just say, well, homeschooled. But he said also they early on he got kicked in the balls, and he goes, oh, my ball hurts. And someone goes, ball.
Oh no, he's only got one. I knew a guy
parents
that had three.
Parents never told him that you needed to have two, so he had to learn that way that he had two, because someone was like, what do you mean ball? He's like, yeah, the one ball in there. His parents never told him.
Wow.
I mean, it's a tough conversation. You know?
Yeah, I guess
Is it?
I mean, I don't know how you started. Like, I don't know if you're just like eating breakfast. Like, by the way, you're supposed to have two of those.
Yeah, I guess good point.
I mean, if you're talking about them at all, you've already opened the doorway to the conversation.
Good point.
By the way, there's two.
You have one.
What happened to the other one? I ate it.
That's not what you would say.
Oh.
Yeah, what's wrong? That would make it harder for him to hear.
Wait.
Yeah, but it would be better.
Is it Jamie Thomas has a story about... Who was it? Someone has a story about his friend. This was so gnarly. It seared in my memory just because of the way the story went down. But they were skating or something, and he caught his board. His board was super, razor tail, whatever. Sliced his scrotum, and he's wearing shorts, and his ball fell out.
Yeah,
you know the story?
No, but on Bike Rider,
unravel?
it unravels.
And then he passed out from shock.
That's fair.
And then this dude's dad, who he was skating with,
rolled it up,
put it on his, picked him up, put him on his chest, and carried him to the hospital.
And they rolled it up, put it back in. Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. I don't know if he actually walked to the hospital.
That happened to Jamie Thomas, or it happened to someone else?
No, I knew.
I feel like it was Jamie Thomas.
Let's get this right, everybody. Jamie Thomas has his balls.
I think it was Jamie Thomas.
This is a friend.
Well, so
Big
does this
ones
guy.
too.
This guy still has them.
Right, but let's like this. I don't want Jamie Thomas getting DMs about how he's a bowlless skateboarder or something.
No. We said it got put back in.
The way that he told it though was so factual.
Right.
It was like, yeah, and then he picked him up.
Do you remember the Marina Valley skate park out there? That I was there. A guy did that. He sliced it, and a ball fell out of his shorts onto the ramp, and they had to hold it back up because it unraveled around. They picked it up and they took it to the hospital. I was like 14. I was like, well, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then you kept riding bikes after that.
Yeah, because that was the only skate park around. It was far away from the house.
And he's a skateboarder. It's not going to happen to you.
Yeah, no, he was a bike rider who did it.
Oh, well, then that would change it.
But
for the day, that would I'd be like, end of session.
Dude, we only got to go to that skate park like once every few months.
Right. It's different.
Did you keep riding that day?
Yeah. I mean, think about it though. It's the safest time to do it. What are the chances of that happening again?
I never would have thought of that. But that is a good point.
What's the chance?
Dude's bowl rolls out, then you go in and your bowl rolls out. No way.
Last Tuesday, two dudes
lost striking twice.
Nah. I reckon when guys say that, they're lying.
There's never going to be a time where you're like, last Tuesday, two dudes' balls fell out on the ramp.
You're waiting for the other shoe.
No, if someone's nuts fall out,
man, that is such a good. Because every time somebody takes a big one, like I usually am like, oh man, I don't really want to skate anymore. But you're right. Like, what are the chances that I do the same thing that guy did?
When someone takes a big slam, that's the 900 day. That's time like, oh, today's the day.
Wow, that is not. It's not the dumbest angle I've ever heard.
It's just math.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good at math, but that one adds up.
Yeah,
man. Next time somebody eats shit, I'm going for a 900.
I'm
just you call me when someone slams. I better see an ape hanger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, you really are living in a different era. That is a thing that is gone.
That's our
Not in my
takeaway
mind.
here.
Yeah, not in my mind. You'll always be the ape hanger to me.
Yeah. Well, once again, now I feel like you because those were the days.
Oh yeah, it's like that saying that the older I get, the better I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because if Tony
Well,
was
you were
like,
good. You were good.
Yeah.
For a
I
very
saw
short
it live.
time. You know what? I spent more time with you, the skateboarders, in what I would call my prime of bike riding than bike riders. So you probably saw more stuff than even bike riders did, because when I was with you, it wasn't being captured in the magazines or anything like that. So
Well, it was good.
Yeah, it was the best way to spend the 2000s.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
yeah, those were great times.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for always being entertaining.
Not losing my shit.
Not losing your shit. Yeah, for being solid.
I would say there was in the 20 some years that we knew each other, or no, we've been doing this at 25 years or whatever. There's been plenty of times where you're like, Rooftop rules, and other times you looked at me and you're like, don't say a goddamn word. Keep your mouth shut, because you knew I was about to ruin the day. So yeah, thank you for always keeping me around.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey.
It's good. So I
We got to take the good with the bad.
I expect Gumball in the next 5 years. Even if we just do a part of it.
All right.
Let's
go.
Let's do it.
We'll get someone to drive a Sprinter van.
With a bunch of lazy boys and and life support.
Yeah, if it's in a Mini, don't call me. That sounds terrible.
All right.
Oh, is that
Thanks,
we done?
dudes. Yeah, that's it. We're done.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I can describe.
Well, some of you may have heard that we're at a crossroads with our show. We're trying to figure out what to do next. And it's definitely been challenging, the economics of it. So we're going to try to keep going, but we'll see what happens at the end of the year. And that's kind of where we're at with it. It's been such a fun ride. I feel like Jason and I, we've had a blast doing this, and we've found our rhythm, and for whatever reason doesn't reach the audience that we had hoped for, but the audience it does reach, we're super appreciative of all of you. It's been super fun. The feedback is amazing, and I hope we can keep it going. And I just want to thank Jason for all these fun times, because it's really been a blast. Watching each one back too has been a joy for me.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it, Tony. It's been the greatest show.
It was our idea. It was all right. It was a
I didn't believe you. Remember, I drove down. I was like, "Why? Are you joking? You seriously want to do a show with me?" Yeah, but I feel like being a bass player in Metallica might be. If someone was like, "Which job do you want?" I would say I'd rather be a co-host on Hawk versus Wolf, because I feel like eventually Metallica would have fired me, so this is better.
I would rather do this than be in Metallica. So
we both agree that we would rather be in this.
I'm right there with you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is a crazy thing.
Yeah. But really, thanks everyone, and I hope things are able to continue.